5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And let's get Shawn in here because we were having technical difficulties. There he is. And your box is big, but I learned my lesson. Maybe I don't fuck with the box and give it a second. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
what the fuck
there
was
it
that?
is.
Yeah. Oh, no, maybe I do have to fuck
That
with
might
it.
have just been my computer.
We gotta play with
Weird.
every fucking time. We gotta fuck with boxes. We gotta play with everybody's box. This is a
Everybody's about to keep playing with boxes. The box game.
it's becoming a running theme. I had to do it with Nico too. You know, it's funny. Let me see here. Let me get this fixed. Is that you that I'm hearing? That that wisping? Is it me? Is it you?
Wisping.
Yeah, it's like a.
Shouldn't be. I am not saying anything.
Hmm.
Shouldn't be.
Maybe.
Oh, we can test it. Hold on. Let me see. Do you wait? Because it might. Hold on a second.
If you
Do you
turn on.
hear it now?
Nope. Nope. It's definitely you.
It's my computer.
That's okay. That's all right. It's not that bad.
Here, I'll switch. There you go. Do you hear it now?
Yeah, no, you're good now. You sound a little more conferencey, but you're good. All right.
Yeah, because it's coming off my headphone now.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so that was definitely your computer. All right. Well, technical difficulties aside, we are live, everybody. Welcome to the weekly breakdown. All right. So, make sure you like this video, share this video. We are live on Rumble, YouTube. I am fucking shocked that they have not taken any of my videos down yet, and X. But if you are watching this and you're trying to type and say what's up and everything, I'm not going to see that shit unless you're in Rumble. I have made a rule. You guys come here. You come to me. I don't
Rumble
come.
is the cool kids table.
That is.
That's
It's a
how it
cool kid.
goes.
It's a cool kids club. You
Yes.
come to me. All right. So head on over to Rumble and follow this page. I noticed there was like somebody that's literally in the chat every fucking day, and they just followed me on Rumble, and I'm like, wait a minute, like that. Wait a minute. If you are in the chat, I think it was RZRUT2A. If you're in the chat every day and you're not following me on Rumble, that means you're not getting a notification, which means that they must be like literally setting a fucking alarm, like coming over, and which is awesome. But just follow the fucking account. And what we do is we do that 2-minute intro because after 2 minutes, everybody's phone will get a beep and it'll be like, "Hey, we're fucking live."
Right.
So
Yeah.
make sure you're following. All right. So, for the weekly breakdown, unlike the daily breakdown where I type the word in news, the weekly breakdown, we go through the news that I went through earlier in the week. And this was Thursday of last week. Middle East live updates. IDF will stay in Gaza's Philadelphia corridor. So, what do you think about that? Oh, no, your box. I got to fuck with your box again. While I'm fucking with your box, Shawn, what do you think of the Hamas ceasefire deal?
Is it a ceasefire?
Yeah, it's
Because I heard that it wasn't like a permanent ceasefire, that Israel can continue to kind
it's
of
not
do what they
no.
want.
It's not an end of war deal. It's a ceasefire.
But it is a pause.
Yeah, it's basically a hostage deal. If it's not even really a ceasefire deal. I mean, it's a ceasefire in certain areas to get hostages out. As far as I think, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. But a lot of people were now you probably don't have the same level of Israeli supporters in your page as I do, but I saw a ton of shit on my feed where they were like chastising Trump because apparently the deal wasn't great. It's not a good deal. And
Not the best deal,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
That's what I
I don't
gathered
think
from it.
anybody's going to be happy with any deal when dealing with terrorists.
Right. Well, you're never going to please any. Right. Exactly.
I mean, it's like you're literally dealing with fucking terrorists. I had somebody in my fucking comment section today. Let me get back to this. I had somebody in my comment section today. I said something about Hezbollah, like, oh, Donald Trump just renamed Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, and it was exactly. And there was some MAGA account that goes, "Who cares?" And I'm like, "Well, they're victims, probably. that's probably who. And they were like,
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah, that's probably some of the
and
people I'd say who'd
and
care,
this
right?
we really we got to get away from this, guys. Look, America first. We've said this so many times. America first does not mean America only. Okay, isolationism.
Yes.
Isolationism is nationalism. Nationalism leads to totalitarianism and authoritarianism, because if we don't if we don't work with other nations, right, then they don't work with us. And if they don't work with us, they work with each other. And if they're working with each other, they're working against us if we're not there. So, we would, and then this person was like, who cares? And then I go, they're victims. They go, where are they? And I'm like, fucking everywhere, retard. They're not just sitting in a hut in fucking Lebanon. There are sleeper cells in America. They're constantly chanting death to America. They say first we come for the Saturday people, referring to the Jews. Then they come for the Sunday.
The Jews,
Then
right?
they come for the Sunday people, referring to the Christians. We are the number. Well, we're not the number one. I think we're one of the big predominant Christian nations. Are we the number one? I think we might be, actually. Uh,
We might be the number
yeah, I think
one.
we are, actually. So either way, so America first is what me and Shawn practice and preach, right? America only is what fucking Nick Fuentes and the Hodge twins and the other fucking retards are preaching. It's isolationism. Isolationism, not good. You know who was an isolationist and a nationalist? Hitler. He was in isolation. He was like, you know what I want? I want all of my white people, like all of my blonde, blue eyed white people right here. I want to kill everybody that isn't those people. And we want to then expand, but we want to make it bigger. And it's the same dumb argument with expansionism, right? It's like expansionism good, isolationism bad. Hitler was a fucking dictator, so it's different.
Yeah, and I lean more towards the ice. If you were to say like isolationist or globalist, because that's like the
Yeah,
two.
that's what I
I
meant.
lean more very, very, very further towards isolation, but complete and total isolation isn't
Yeah, it's
practical.
not.
You
And
know, it just not, especially not in this day and
yeah,
age.
we're all
But
connected.
I'm 100% anti foreign aid.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well, I don't think that.
and like my foreign aid budget would be $0 and zero
Me too.
cents at beginning,
Yep.
and then you got to tell me, show me the proof that we're going to get return on investment on any aid that is invested in another
Well,
country,
then that's
in
see,
some
that's
form.
not aid. That's the thing, right? It's like aid is
Right.
aid. These terms have been conflated. All right. Now, yes, we do provide some aid to Israel, but the vast majority of the goings on between the United States and Israel is through trade, right? We are trading military intelligence. They are buying weapons from us. They are doing,
And that's
yeah.
fine.
But what
Yeah.
Ukraine is aid. We
That's aid.
literally just
That's a one way. There is
yeah,
nothing
throw it.
reciprocal about that relationship. That's a parasitic
And fucking
relationship.
Palestine, Gaza is aid. We're literally just throwing it over
Yep.
there. Right? With Israel,
That's also a
yeah,
parasitic
with
relationship.
Israel, we're not helping them. They're giving us shit. So a lot of people have tried to create a false equivalency with that. But if I'm with you, I don't understand why any other nation, right, doesn't have this like mandate to help out every other neighbor. Like they're not even neighbors; they're across a fucking
Well,
ocean.
this is the thing, All right, okay, so we do the whole aid
How
thing,
many?
Paraguay,
Yeah,
Angola, Ukraine. All right, so LA is on
yeah. How
fire.
many Ukrainians? How many
Um,
Ukrainians have a fucking hose
right.
and they're putting out fires?
Where are
Yeah,
you? Hey, and maybe you know what? Maybe you want to say we're not going to send people. All right, where's the
yeah.
money?
You don't got
Are you going to
none.
give us maybe a hometown
You got
discount
none
this
left
month
over.
for, oh, you sent us 50 billion? Can you give me,
Yeah.
can you let us keep 30
So
billion
I
of it
mean,
and where's the rest of the
a
world? Where's the EU?
$1 billion is $1,000,000,000.
Yeah.
$200,000,000,000 plus we've given to you. How much does it take to put out a fire? I don't know, $50,000,000. Give us $50,000,000 or something. Just I don't know, just whatever. It's just so weird. So yes,
Right.
we are in agreement. Aid is stupid, and Donald Trump putting a pause on aid is a great idea. putting
Loved it.
putting a pause on aid and the specific reasoning behind it, saying North Carolinians are not being helped, Floridians are not being helped until you guys take care of America first. We won't do that shit.
Right.
That is America first. Donald Trump is also not America only. So he's like, oh, no, 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 we'll help you. Well,
And he never claimed to
yeah,
be.
never claimed to be. You know, that
He never claimed to
that's
be.
the other thing that bugs me about the there's I see it's this is why when these fucking retards hijack these terms, it's like you can't use them anymore because you got the Fuenteses and all the they're like America first, but they mean America only, so you can't even say it now without lumping yourself in with those retards. This is exactly what
Yeah,
it's
that's the
exactly what
problem.
Andrew Tate is doing. Andrew Tate is trying to insert himself into MAGA, so now it's like when you make that connection with bad actors that are inside the party, they sort of they hijack. They're literally hijacking what was
Yeah.
and is a really good movement at its core, if you look at it in its original definition from the people that actually started it. You know, like I don't think that this is why I had such a big reaction to Benny Johnson bringing on Alina Habba and Andrew Tate, because I was like, "Oh no, you're doing something that's going to connect those two things. You can't connect
Right.
those two
And
things."
allow people to say that they're both on the same side,
Yeah.
and they're not. Andrew Tate, I don't care if Andrew Tate is, I think he was born in the United States. He's technically a US citizen.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of
Yeah.
that. He is not on our side. He
Correct.
may vote like
Yeah.
us, but he is
Well,
not on
you
our
want to know what's
side.
funny about that? Somebody showed me the U.S. code for he's actually committing a felony in America if he gets convicted in Romania, because there's a law in America that says a United States citizen cannot travel anywhere and sleep with a girl under 18. So even if he's following Romanian law with his he's oh no no no, they weren't 15, they were 16. Like it's like, yeah, dude, but you know what? We can prosecute you in America now.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Hold on, I'm pretty sure I screen saved it. Let me get it for you because I'm 99% sure I screen saved it. Um yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit, that actually it's
Eric
right."
Adams, by the way, is doing the same thing that
Yeah,
Andrew Tate is doing.
under
I
section
just noticed nasty.
105. Section 105 authorizes fines and or imprisonment for up to 30 years for U.S. citizens or legal residents who engage in illicit sexual conduct abroad. Illicit sexual conduct means a sexual act with a person under 18 years of age or any commercial sex act with a person under 18 years of age. So Andrew Tate has committed a bunch of felonies that he's admitted to, even if he claims that all of this stuff was consensual, and the like he's on camera in many instances, and his brother's like Tristan Tate. There's a nice little clip of him saying, there's a girl with 200,000 followers on Instagram. I took her virginity when she was 17. And they're like, I'm like, yo, dog, you're in your
Mm-mm-mm.
30s.
Right,
You're like, you're
right,
in your
right,
30s.
right.
It's
Like
like,
that's
you're saying it so like, yeah, but it's like, bro, it's like, fuck.
it's not yeah,
We t-
it's no.
we talked we talked about this last time. It's like, just because you can do something legally doesn't mean you should. You're still a pedophile anyway. Let's um let's move on to the next one. Key takeaways from Joe Biden's farewell address. I don't know if we talked about that. I mean, Joe Biden. What did he say his biggest regret was in the farewell address? He said he didn't control the media enough or something. It's like, yo, that's the
Well,
fucking
yeah, yeah, and upset with Facebook going away from fact checking,
yeah. Oh, that's
right?
right.
And then he had the nerve to say that there's an oligarchy that is taking hold in the United States when he literally gave George Soros the Medal of Freedom.
Bro,
What?
all these billionaires are the problem. Let me put the Medal of Freedom on some of them. You fucking
Hillary
hypocrite.
Clinton?
Hillary Clinton. Fucking, I don't know what Denzel was doing there, but fucking Denzel was like there. Michael J. Fox is the only one that I understood. I was like, yeah, Michael J. Fox has done crazy stuff to cure Parkinson's, and
Sure.
he's a huge humanitarian. He's just such a nice guy. And then there's a bunch of fucking basically like globalist fucking cunts that are just the worst people on the planet sitting next to him while he
Yeah.
vibrates. It was fucking anyway, yeah. That was fucking
Yeah, the Biden farewell address was a
yeah,
mess
well,
last week. It
farewell.
was
That's
definitely
all
a
I
mess.
have to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goodbye. That's my address to
No.
him. Farewell.
Then LA next
Bye.
up is LA wildfire victims get a major insurance boost. State Farm offers renewals to policyholders that were affected after canceling them. That was nice of them
Uh,
after the fucking
nice.
the public
Yeah.
outcry and massive backlash. It's like what I mean, listen, you know what? I think we might have talked about this. Maybe it was somebody else. The thing is, it's like I have a thing about insurance companies where it's like, yeah, they're screwing people, but it's also capitalism, and it's like what you do to fix that problem is you create more competitiveness and in the market. There's some good programs like Root Insurance, and there's these online apps where you can just get insurance and they track your phone. And if you drive really like if you don't drive like a crazy person, they're tracking your phone, and it's much cheaper. But the practice of an insurance company to say you're in a high risk area because California is run by fucking cunts. So we're going to rape you on your premiums and then we're going to pull you out of coverage right before a major disaster. That seems predatory. It seems very
Hmm.
and insurance companies are shady. My mom was an insurance broker for 30 years. She had a nervous breakdown because of how much they screw people. She was the one that was always dealing with people on the phone. And she got
Yeah,
tired of people calling and crying and screaming and yelling at her. So,
that's
yeah,
tough. That's tough.
but insurance companies are always going to be cunts. I don't know what the solution is for that. But
You know what it is? The market is going to have to work itself out,
yeah.
and you're eventually you're going to get an insurance company. Maybe it's local,
Yeah.
that a small town thing. Go back to the mom and pop type deal. I mean, it takes a lot of money to run an insurance company, yes,
Mhm.
but it's going to take competition and ethics to work its way back into that industry
Yep.
and move the rest of the industry, right? I mean, it wasn't too long ago that every social media platform heavily censored
Yeah.
people. And then X only sort of censors people
Yeah.
now. Like, they pick and choose, and things are moving
Yeah.
back. That's the way the market works. It ebbs and
It's all
flows.
about creating a parallel economy and then creating that competition where it forces the other companies to sort of meet the supply and demand issue. But
Correct.
unfortunately, they just have such a stranglehold. We're talking about APAC and how everyone's all upset about APAC, and I'm like, yeah, you guys aren't upset about the National Association of Realtors, who I think are like 10 times APAC, the size of APAC. And it's like, who's going to make out on the Hawaii fires? Who's going to make out on the California fires? It's not APAC, right? It's like, so there's other corrupt organizations like insurance companies,
Well,
the
Zach,
pharmaceutical industry.
the Jews
No, that's
caused
right.
the
Basically,
fire,
they made
obviously,
it fuck.
according
They
to
put dandruff on my dirt in Texas, and
that was one of the funniest videos I've ever
I
seen.
fucking
You were like, "Oh, by the way, Jews, I know you did this because someone on the internet said you did
so
it, so fix it." And then 2 hours later, you're like, "See,
see.
I got in touch with the space laser people, and there's no more snow."
So if you guys didn't see the video we're talking about, I
So funny.
I went out to walk Gatsby. I opened
That was
I
so funny.
opened the fucking door and there's snow on the ground. And I didn't know that. Nobody was taught like you know how like I don't know, man. Usually maybe your friends will text you and they'll be like, "Holy shit, it's snowing." Nobody informed me. It wasn't on Facebook or anywhere. And I just sort of opened my door and I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" So I made a video and I was like, "Hey, listen, Jews, we got to talk cuz there's dandruff on my dirt and I know you guys control the weather, so you fix it." And then an hour later, the sun came out, melted all the snow. And I made a post and I go, "See, this is what happens when you support the Jewish people, all right? They take care of shit for you. The the people who control the weather, you can just put in one fucking phone call. Maybe you guys should stop hating on them so much. You put in one fucking phone call to somebody with the last name
It's a beautiful
with
day.
Stein in their name, and fucking boom, it's fucking gone.
Yeah, I don't know. Call your
Yeah, it's
lawyer,
great
right?
stuff. Exactly. All right, next up. Next up, Prince Harry said, "Yo, you
Stein.
know."
Stupid. So stupid. Oh, it's great.
I was talking. This was from yesterday, and with the weekly breakdown, I don't put the body into the rundown. I just do headlines only. But I remember this was literally a one paragraph article. It's Prince Harry settles lawsuit with Murdoch papers after apology. And the fucking body of it is Prince Harry and his legal team thrashed out a last minute deal with Rupert Murdoch's newspaper on claims of widespread wrongdoing. And that's it. I'm like, what was the wrongdoing? Do you know what this story is? Is this something that I just missed? But apparently there was.
I don't pay attention to Prince
Yeah, me
Harry
neither.
or whatever. I hate that whole thing. I I can't even begin to tell you the level. Like I started making jokes about the Queen of England dying as soon as she died. I was like, oh, the Queen of. I literally tweet, and people got mad on Twitter. Show some respect. I was like, I don't respect the
That's not my
Queen.
queen.
We fought a fucking war
Yeah,
over
you
it. That's not my thing to
fuck her
do.
and her funny money.
So like I said, oh, the Queen of England died? Sounds like a great reason to send more money to Ukraine. And people, oh, too soon. I said, no, it's not. No,
No,
it's
it's
right
not.
on time,
It's not.
actually, because if you didn't know, she just died. And I made a
Yeah, it's
joke.
relevant.
That's
It's
what I did.
actually.
I couldn't care less about the royal family, except, interesting little fact,
Yeah.
the royal family, some of them have Romanov DNA. The whole
Uh
Anastasia
huh.
thing. They're related to Tsar Nicholas.
Okay.
So,
All right.
just saying. That's the only thing I care about
I
with the
thought you
royal
were talking
family.
about.
I don't care about Prince
I thought
Harry. I don't care about Meghan Markle. I don't care about the king, the
you know.
queen. I don't care about any of these
So
people.
after
None of them.
what's funny is after Meghan Markle became insufferable in the media, and she just exudes just cunt of like attitude and all sorts of shit. I ended up being on Netflix with nothing to watch, and I started watching Suits, and I was watching it for a good 3 seasons before I put two and two together that it's Meghan Markle. It's the actress that I've been watching is the princess, and I'm like, oh no! Like I was like, because I mean the show's great if you've never seen Suits, um, and I was like, wait a minute,
I heard it was a
it
good
is
show.
it is a good show, but I'm like, wait a minute, like she seems so normal. Oh, that's because she's acting. She seems like a nice person in the show because she's acting. Um, but yeah, this headline and this story, it's just something happened and it was settled. And I'm like, what publisher was like, yeah, run it? There's no context in there at all. Anyway. And then from yesterday we got the snowstorm that hit everywhere. We already talked about the dandruff on my dirt. How did that fare in Tennessee? Did you guys get anything?
We got maybe a couple.
I mean, here's the
I think the biggest news that Gina in the chat's in
Gina.
Tallahassee, Florida. She got snow.
Yeah.
And there's one snowplow in the city of Tallahassee, so he's still busy.
Oh God.
But it's Florida. They're not prepared for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually snow down there. But the best thing that happened was, I don't know if you saw Ron DeSantis's executive order about the
No.
storm, where
The
he
Gulf of
referred to the
America.
Gulf of
Yeah.
Mexico as the Gulf of
Yeah.
America. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, the ink's not even dry on that executive order yet, and he's playing
he's like
ball. So
fuck it.
good for him.
Listen, like I said about Ronnie D, I was giving him a lot of shit. Hey, it was a fight. It was like
It's a primary. It's what
when you go
happens.
through a primary, okay, like adults can realize that, hey, I picked my guy. Okay? I picked my fucking guy, and
Right.
I'm going to hammer his opponents, right? I'm going to point out that Ron DeSantis kicked out Trump supporters from his fucking book signing because they were wearing MAGA shirts. I'm gonna point out shit like that. I'm gonna point out him wearing lifts in his shoes, right? Like shit like that. And the amount of cult. Listen, it was almost always Floridians too. The Floridians that would come after me on the MAGA side, I'm like, yo, you guys realize that when this is over, we can still be friends. I'll be back on board with Ronnie D. So like, I've always been of the mindset where I didn't want him to be president. I don't want any politician to be president. I don't like politicians. He's a politician, and politicians are fake. Hence the lifts. But
Right, the
yeah,
boots. Yeah.
but
Ugh.
after it all worked out, what's happening now? We like
Oh,
we like Ronnie D again. We like him
thank
again.
you.
Okay, so great. He's honestly a better governor than he was a fucking a presidential candidate too. He really is.
His whole presidential campaign seemed so
It was
forced.
fake. That's the
It just
problem.
it seemed right, and that's it. It was
Yeah.
astroturfed. Like there wasn't actually support. It was like Kamala
You
Harris.
don't.
He's not as incompetent as she is. He's a much better. I don't want anyone to think like, oh, you think Ron DeSantis? No, but the like the fundamentals of both campaigns. There was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money that made it look like there was a lot going
Yeah.
on, and it was all hollow, is what I'm saying. And DeSantis is an effective governor.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good
Yep.
governor. I believe he's a strong conservative
Yep.
governor. I'll say he's probably the best governor in the
He might
country.
be
However, awful presidential
awful.
campaign, very socially
Yep.
awkward. The boots, the way he, his weird laugh,
Yeah.
like, it just snapshots and sound bites, right? Like Bongino
Yep.
says, they weren't there for Ron. It was one of the worst presidential campaigns I think we've
Yeah.
ever seen. Like it was up there with like Jeb
Yeah.
Bush
Well,
type of like
people
bad.
don't realize why Trump has the thing that he has. It's because he's not being fake. He's not memorizing a talking point. It's like he's literally just out there and like he reads off a teleprompter, but most of the time he reads off a teleprompter, it goes for an extra 45 minutes because he just adds a bunch of shit in there and he vamps and shit like that.
You're right. The teleprompter is essentially just giving
It's
him
a
the
guide. Yeah,
framework
it's a
of the
guide.
conversation.
But
But then he does the weave.
correct.
He'll start off the point, we got to secure our border, and then he'll wind up talking about Taco Bell
Exactly.
and then come back to the
And it's
border. You
like
know what I
people
mean?
just
It's this
don't,
whole thing.
whether you love Donald Trump or hate him, what people want in this country, and I think this is on both sides. They want real. They want there's thirst because subconsciously even people know that listen, the lawyers and politicians, okay? They like you don't trust lawyers or politicians, but you want a good lawyer and you want a good politician, right? But Trump
Right.
is not a politician, right? So it's like he's like my cousin Vinny, right? Where he's like he's that type of lawyer where he comes in and he's just everything that guy just said is bullshit, right? It's like that's the Trump effect, right? And it works for him, but it's very. I don't think anyone can like even Vivek. Vivek, everyone was like, "Oh, Vivek is real." Vivek was fake but convincing, I think. And I still like Vivek, but I don't think I would ever trust Vivek, because he gave
I liked him. I think, I liked what he said.
exactly,
Right. The best part is I liked what he
but he
said.
said all the right
I
things.
have it on pretty good. I have it on pretty good authority that he is who he claims to
Yeah.
be in terms of his stances.
Yeah.
Folks who know him personally
Mhm.
and have known him for longer than he's been in politics, like this dude is the real deal.
Yeah.
Like he would be a good choice. However,
But he's right. He's
there's
right wing Obama though.
totally untested.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So go ahead, and he's running for governor of Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a lot less consequential nationally than president of the United States.
No, I think that's a
All
good
right.
move.
So go prove yourself. Go cut your teeth, right? And see what
I think
happens.
that's a good move. It's also one of the reasons why I jumped on board with JD Vance so quickly was because also not a politician that long. It's like more he's been a politician. He was a politician for what? A few years?
2 years. He won his election in 22. He sworn
Yeah.
in January of 23.
Yeah, so he's barely
A year and a half.
It's like I think that people are like so tired of Chuck Schumer's and Joe Biden's and even Mitt Romney's and the people on the right that have been there forever. It's like, I think that if you ask I don't know what the polling numbers are, but I'm pretty sure the polling is pretty high on term limits. And that should tell you that people don't want these career fucking politicians, because what we're doing is we're
Right.
looking at the people, we're looking at our elected leaders who are supposed to be public servants. And they're all doing really well for themselves while we're struggling. And we internalize that. And I think that the reason people like Trump is, even though he's rich, he made all of his money on his own, and he didn't take any money from us. He donated his salary. He basically
Right.
funded his whole first campaign by himself. So people notice that, and they either subconsciously or whatever. And then on top of it, he's not a politician. So I think that that's the Trump effect is the Trump effect will be studied in geopolitics for fucking decades. Decades. Trump derangement syndrome will be studied in psychology for decades.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like people think it's like a meme. Like it may have started off that way. Like, oh, you don't like Trump, you have TDS. Like, no, it's a thing. Like it's an
It's
actual. You can call it a condition. Like it is a social
I
contagion.
think it was
You know,
I think it was already
it's
I
just
think it was already categorized in some type of medical journal as post traumatic stress disorder. Somebody published it. So it's now published finding that it is a form of PTSD. People in 2016 lost. They wanted Hillary. They internalized and developed a debilitating mental disorder called Trump derangement syndrome, which is a form of post traumatic stress disorder. And
right.
it's, if you can see it, like, you can fucking see it. If you look at these people who like AOC, right? AOC, not Elon Musk doing the fucking the I give my heart to you, looked like a Nazi salute. She is so fucking TDS, right? That just because Elon Musk is in Trump's camp, she is now losing her mind about this, screaming. She's trying to convince everybody it was a Nazi salute. The motherfucker went to fucking Auschwitz. Like, Elon Musk went to
Right.
Auschwitz. He went to Israel. He is constantly supporting the Jews. And you really, AOC, you really think that he went Sikh Heil? Like, you really think that? Are you fucking?
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's a form of PTSD, and it's only affecting the weakest people. Next up, Trump. I was just watching the first part of it. Trump conducted the first sit-down interview with
With
Hannity.
Hannity, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw the first part of it. It was pretty good. It's just Trump seems like he's fucking aging in reverse. He really
Yeah.
does. He's like there was actually, I think that during the campaign, you know what I've noticed about him since he won the past couple of days? He's sharper, right? But like, I think that like during the end of the campaign, I think I saw him slowing down a bit when he
I
was
mean, he
like taking
had to be
questions.
getting a little
Bro, it's got to
tired.
be a fucking grind. It's got to be
Yeah.
an absolute fucking grind. Like, I
And I
mean,
see people and like the Democrats, oh, Trump's slurring his words. And I'm like, all right, first of all, you voted for Joe Biden.
yeah.
Okay. Second of all, slurring words, you're going to vote for the drunk lady.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Kamala Harris has been
third, yeah, he's 78. Okay. He's old.
yeah, but
He's out there
he's a
he's been
young
working
78, man.
nonstop for the
Yeah.
last 4 years.
Well, he's been
And it
working
took until the
nonstop.
last
Yeah.
5 days of the campaign for him to be like, oh, wow, it's a little like, I'm a little
Yeah.
tired.
No, he did.
He got shot. Come on.
He almost got shot again.
On.
Yeah, but
I know.
I'm saying, like,
I'd slow down too.
no. I remember that though. He was making more gaffes towards the end. Like, it was a couple of gaffes. Like, and you know how the left will hyperfixate on it, and they throw a spotlight on it. So I was, but I was even seeing it. I was seeing, like, not dementia or anything, but I'm like, guy looks like he's on the fucking 12th round of a fucking 12 round fight. And he was. And it worked, man. That guy hustled harder. He did his first day. He woke up before me. Okay? He must have woken up at fucking 5 in the morning. He went and walked around Washington. He swore in, he did this, he did that, he signed executive orders, he went to the arena, signed more executive orders, went to the White House, blah blah blah, back and forth. Then he went to fucking 3 different balls. And at 11, when I was tapping out for the night, he was cutting a cake with a fucking sword while singing YMCA. All right? Like, I'm fucking
Yeah.
sorry. But that's who I want for my
Yeah.
fucking president. I want a
He's
president.
fun,
I want
man.
a
He's having
I want
fun.
a president that I don't give a fuck how old he is. I want a president that I can look at and go, he works harder than me. Right? If I can see
Yeah.
that, if I can say the guy in charge of the country works harder than me and I work pretty fucking hard, right? I'm going to be happy with the president. We didn't see Joe Biden. He was calling lids at fucking noon most days of the week. He
Yeah,
was
he wouldn't. Yeah, that's it.
Joe
He was going to bed at 8:30. It was like out. Like
yeah,
he's
he was
done.
on
8:30 Eastern
vacation. He was
time.
on vacation for more than 40% of his presidency, and it was real vacation. It wasn't like Donald Trump vacations. Donald Trump vacations, he was like on a golf course still doing president shit.
Yeah, when he sat down in the golf cart, he was on the phone with somebody from another country. Like,
Exactly.
now get these people out of here, right? We
Yeah.
gotta get them
It's
out.
so yeah, I mean, it's that interview. I'll watch the rest of it after we get off of this. But next up is Trump pledges to send military to border, brand cartels
Love
terrorists,
that.
and then they get the picture of the crisis actor, the woman who has perfectly fucking clean Invisaligned teeth, uh, and makeup on, who's apparently been sitting at the border waiting to get in and then had that crying fit. Did you see my post where I said I'm gonna watch this video while reading my birth certificate? I was like, I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna sit there and just read the documentation that I belong in this country and you don't, fucking while
Right.
crocodile tears all over the fucking southern border wall. I don't give a fuck, guys. Look, here's the deal. I don't care. The left has pushed us out of a position of empathy. All right, we had it, right? We had it. Like, imagine, all right, perfect analogy, right? Imagine you see some poor girl crying on the side of the road. You know what? Actually, I got a way better analogy, and it's a joke. I don't know if you've heard this joke before. This is the perfect fucking analogy for the left. This is literally the perfect analogy for the left. This is a joke my dad told me. I love this joke. So there's this guy walking up and down the beach to exercise, right? So he goes up and down the beach, up and down the beach, up and down the beach. As he's walking down the beach, he sees this woman laying on a towel. She's got no arms and no legs, and she's crying. Now, this guy's a really nice guy. So he goes, "Excuse me, miss, why are you crying?" And she goes, "I have no arms and no legs, and I've never even been hugged before." And this guy's like, "Oh my God, that's terrible." He goes, "Would you mind if I gave you a hug?" And she goes, "Oh, please." Picks her up, gives her a hug, puts her back down on the towel, and he goes back and starts doing his laps. So the next time he comes by, she's still crying, and he comes in and he goes, "Hey, I just gave you a hug. Why are you crying?" Like, and she goes, "Well, I have no arms and no legs, and I've never been kissed before." And he's like, "Oh, man, well, I guess, okay, whatever." So he picks her up and he gives her a kiss and she starts sticking her tongue in his mouth and he's like, "Oh, wait." Puts her back down, does his laps. So the third time he comes back, this bitch is still crying, and now he's getting a little pissed off because he feels like he's being taken advantage of.
Right.
And he goes,
Right.
"Excuse me, miss, I hugged you, I kissed you. Why are you still crying?" And she goes, "Well, I have no arms and no legs and I've never been fucked before." So he picks her up, he throws her in the fucking ocean, and he goes, "Well, now you're fucked."
Right. No, that's a good. But that's that. But that's a good point.
Yes, it's like,
That's a
guys,
good point.
you have pushed us out of empathy. Now you're fucked. Okay? All this crying and whining and bullshit, we don't have any more empathy for you. Right? It's like when you called us racist the first couple of times, we were like, "I'm not racist." And then we tried to reason with you
Right.
and you go, "No, you are racist." And then eventually we were like, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm fucking racist." I mean, you fucking people created people like Nick Fuentes and Myron Gaines and all them because they're doing it out
Yeah.
of spite. They're doing it out of spite because they just don't care about you anymore. So
Right.
get your
Right.
get your shit together, fucking people. Like, TDS really does need to get reined in, and I don't know how to do it, but it's fucking
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's like you have to when you get your physical with a doctor, like they hit you in the knee,
yeah.
and the reflex,
It's like,
and they take your blood pressure, and they look in your ears and eyes, and then they show you a picture of Donald Trump. And if you flip out, you have a condition. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they
Bro,
have
we
to
need
do.
to do
It's like,
something because
oh, it's like, all right, your blood pressure is like 110 over
yeah.
80. Okay, good reflexes. Your eyes look good. Ears look good. Lungs sound good. Like, no! All right. We have a condition here,
I mean,
TBS, stage 3.
I
Like,
mean, but all jokes aside, we can't do this for the next 4 years again, guys. It's like, when? Do we really have to do this again? I'm already seeing it though. The mainstream media is already doing it. The left is already doing
yeah.
it. And it's like, guys, we already did this. We played this fucking game. The only solace that we have now, I guess, is the House and the Senate are both controlled by us. So I don't think impeachment's going to be a thing. Um,
Not for the first 2
but
years.
look, here's another thing. And I hate to keep harping on this, but I mean, I personally think it's a really big problem. The Andrew Tate thing, it's not about Andrew Tate, it's about the culture around Donald Trump. It's like it's like the biggest complaint I think that Trump supporters had with Donald Trump is who he surrounded himself with. Right? It's like
Yeah.
that would be our number one issue with Donald Trump. If you are a diehard supporter of Donald Trump, I don't think there's a single person that would have like the oh, everybody he surrounded himself with was great. No,
Yeah,
we
no.
all say that. So I have this sort of protective instinct for Trump to make sure that doesn't happen again. And everyone's looking at the swamp, right? And it's like, oh, he knows what the swamp. Yeah, he might know that the swamp in Washington is bad now, but he might not know that there is a new swamp, and it's the fucking people in the conservative community that are trying to get close to him for their own personal gain. Where it's like, don't trust a DTA, Trump, DTA. Don't trust anyone.
Don't trust
Don't trust
anybody.
Alina
Yeah.
Habba. Don't trust Elon Musk. Don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone. Trust your wife and your kids, and I think Susie Wiles and a couple others. But
Yeah. Susie Wiles, I think, is
don't
smart.
trust
Yeah.
anyone else, man. And don't get close to anyone else. It's just because, you know, like if you want to go full conspiracy theory, then Andrew Tate is there to specifically ruin Trump. Timu Epstein get in close to Trump, and then when everything blows up, they use Tate to paint him as the next Jeffrey Epstein, and there's a connection. But it's not, like I said, you got Nick Fuentes who tried it. Nick Fuentes went to that Trump dinner with Kanye, and what happened? Everybody lost their shit. Like Donald Trump had a white supremacist at the fucking at the dinner. He
Right.
ate dinner with a white supremacist. They use that as a pretty big tool against Trump. Imagine instead of white supremacist, it's a child rapist. Like,
Oh, man.
come on, guys.
And it wasn't just the left that did it. The DeSantis people, they were like, oh, Trump's judgment. Everyone knows Fuentes is scum. Why did he have him there?
Exactly.
And Trump didn't invite him. Kanye brought him, and
Yeah.
it was like an ambush. But like,
And maybe I'm overreacting.
yeah.
Maybe I'm overreacting, and maybe it's not that big of a deal. But I wanna start putting out these fires before they start. Right? I'm not Gavin.
No, it's not a bad thing to
I'm
do.
not.
It's
I'm not
preventative.
Gavin
Yeah.
Newsom. I'm not. I'm looking at all the fucking tinder on the ground, and I'm like, that's not
Right.
good. you know.
That stuff can go up pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Speaking of, did you see? While we're on the fucking Tate subject, did you see the new white? I know you did because we talked about it. The White House liaison, the guy, the new
Yeah.
white, and look, the glorified coffee runner. I get it. All right. Um, but the new White House liaison is he's got his nose up Andrew Tate's ass. You got Alina Habba with Benny Johnson kissing Tate's ass, and it's like who's in charge of vetting is my question. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, what are we doing here? We should have
And
we should
here's the
have the
problem.
tightest. We should
There,
have the tightest.
just like how it took us a long time to realize how truly bad Andrew Tate
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
I'm willing to give some, not all,
Uh-huh.
but some people who may be doing the vetting the benefit of the doubt that they're not looking at that as an actual liability.
Correct.
there may be Alina Habba has
No clue.
had when she made that statement, no clue.
clue.
She knows now.
I think she knows now.
She knows.
Yeah.
That's probably why she's not talking about him at
Yeah,
all.
I don't think we're gonna hear. Like I said, I think the distancing. I think we talked about this the day after. I go, distancing is going to happen. A statement would be better.
Yeah. Yes. Right. But I think that there are a lot of people. There are probably a lot of people in the political realm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mid-level. You can say not really normie,
Yeah.
but like couple layers deep, who don't know who. When I say who,
Yeah.
I mean like what the guy's about. They don't know who Andrew Tate is. They know he's a guy, big following, and he's been on Tucker Carlson, so they assume, okay, not so bad.
Sure.
And look, you and I, right? We knew. I always had a funny feeling about him.
I kind of supported him. Yeah, like I was.
But it takes what? It took all of 15 minutes to go through his page and listen to him and go, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no. And
that's not.
I
just want the whoa moment for some people. Listen, all I want is one statement from somebody serious, and I'm like, there will be a huge weight off my shoulders. Because I'll be like, okay, it worked. Move on to the next thing. But until I see that, I'm gonna be like, I just gotta make sure. I'm like Hodor in fucking Game of Thrones. I'm just holding some shit shut. Like I'm just like, no, you're not getting in. You're not getting in, dude. You're not getting in. That's it. But it's not. It's more than that. It's more than Andrew Tate. It's like Candace Owens and Benny Johnson. Like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. They did platform him. And there's the conspiracy theorists. People are telling me to turn on Tucker. I'm indifferent to Tucker. Like, look, I'm indifferent to everybody. But it's like the people in the orbit. It's not about guilt by association. It's about what are their intentions, right? Like, what is this White House liaison's intentions? Because if it's to climb the ranks and get closer, and that's the guy, like I would rather blow the whistle now or sound the alarm now. That way, maybe somebody sees it and pays attention to it and just gives a little side eye, right? I'm not saying fire people. I'm not saying disassociate with everybody and discredit everybody. I'm saying at least it's our job as his supporters to make sure blind following is dumb, right? Like Charlie Kirk, Benny Johnson. Blind following is stupid, right? You look at like a prime example is Charlie Kirk's messaging about TikTok. The internet is kind of forever, right? Where it's like if you said one thing, you better have a damn good explanation as to why you're saying a different thing now. I did this with Andrew Tate. I said, yo guys, I was stupid. I was stupid and I was wrong. I just didn't do the research. Now I can start talking about it. Charlie Kirk with his whole TikTok needs to be banned. China bad. TikTok banned. He said it like 50 fucking times. And then the other day, he's like, Donald Trump is saving TikTok. Thank you, you better thank him, Gen Z. And no follow-up. It's like, yeah, dude, you do look like a hypocrite. So
you have to explain, and this is, look, it's okay to change your mind.
It's 100% okay.
However, you got to do it the way J.D. Vance did it, where on a debate stage nationally, they said, hey, you're saying all these things how you're pro-Trump, but X amount of years ago, you called him Hitler. And he, on television, looked into the camera and said, I was wrong.
That's all it takes.
And I learned who he was. And, and my position changed, and here's how it changed. You got to, that needs to take place. That was one of the biggest criticisms I had of how Kamala ran her campaign. Oh, okay. All of a sudden you want to secure the border? No problem. What changed? And when did it change?
Well,
right? When did it change? No tax on tips? That's weird that just happened now. How'd you arrive at that? Right? Like where did you arrive? How did you get to that?
Exactly. Well, you get a certain level of fakeness when you see that.
Exactly. And I hate, and that's one of my biggest criticisms, not just of the left, the right, is the blind following. Because then you don't really stand for anything. You stand for what somebody else stands for, right?
Exactly.
And there's no individual. Like, I have no problem looking at Donald Trump and something that he may or may not do. I mean, you go talk about TikTok when he put up
Oh
on Truth
yeah.
Social, the U.S. government wants this. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, we said the
Yeah.
United States, and I'm looking at that saying, government, no, right? People say,
Yeah.
calm
No,
down.
government bad.
I'm saying, no, no, I'm not saying I don't like the guy. I'm saying if this is what he means, I disagree. That's
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm not
Well,
turning on him. I mean, the people say someone criticizes Donald Trump, it's like, oh, you're turning on him. Nobody's turning on anybody. It's a
no.
healthy
No,
disagreement
in
or
fact, it
an
means we
exchange of
care.
ideas. That's it. That's it.
it means
Exactly.
it means we actually give a shit.
Right.
If all right, so you know how I feel about TikTok. I am deep in this is one of my main issues, right? I know what that app does. I know it deeper and darker the fucking underbelly of that app. So when Donald Trump started talking about it, I aggressively came out. But I made sure that I would make a post following up and being like, I still love Donald Trump. Donald Trump is still my boy. It's Greg Gutfeld had the best analogy. You know I love analogies. He goes, "If I love a restaurant, it doesn't mean I have to love everything on the fucking menu." Right? It's like I
Exactly.
can go to a restaurant and I could be like, "I hate that fucking menu item." Right? But overall, this is still my favorite restaurant. Right? That's
Exactly.
how I look at, politicians and people that in any person. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't like everything about you, but you know what? I want to keep eating here." Um and with Trump, I don't even like his explanation of the TikTok thing. It does look a little bit to me like pandering to China. I I stick by what I've said this entire time. If TikTok is an American company, I have no problem with it. If TikTok is in the hands of our foreign adversary China and they are using that super AI brainwashing algorithm on American citizens, it's 100% nope. I don't care if Jesus says it, right? It's fucking no. No, you will never convince me that that is a good idea because I know what the law says. The law is about spying, the law is about the spyware,
The
the
data
data
collection. Right.
collection,
Right.
right? And that's bad. But for me, it's the thing that's not even written into the law because of my own personal experience in doing about a year and a half of research on the app. I know what it does. It's heroin for your mind. Um, I mean, I think regular heroin's also for your mind too, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
But so yeah, so I mean, Trump is not giving me a great answer on that. But you know what? I also think that Donald Trump walked up to the plate and hit about 60 fucking home runs in the past 3 days. So if I don't agree with him on the TikTok thing, I will get over it. Like I
Right.
will be okay. Like
Exactly.
if
You know.
If Donald Trump gets if Donald Trump let's say Donald Trump invites Andrew Tate to the White House, I will get over it. Right? And I will
Right.
say
I won't like it. I won't be
I will
happy about it.
scream
But
about it.
that's the whole thing about the single issue voters,
Yeah.
right? That's where they go wrong. Where you had that person who said, "Well, I'm voting for Jesus in the
Yeah,
election,"
yeah. No, I'm voting for Christ
and
too.
it was just,
Because
that whole thing, right, where Trump's stance on abortion wasn't what they wanted, and so they're going to throw their whole vote
yeah,
away.
because they don't understand what
You
single
know,
issue voting means. Single
right,
issue voting means you vote for the candidate that gets you closest to your single issue. It doesn't mean you get the candidate that aligns
right.
with your single issue. Right? It's like it's so wild how we've developed this culture of fucking of my way
It's all or
my
nothing,
way or the highway type. Yeah.
right?
It's like
Well, we started off tonight talking about it. America
yeah.
first versus America
Yeah.
only. And there are people who, if it's not only
Yeah.
America, they want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we need is tended to
First. That's what
first.
America first means.
That's it.
Literally means it means
Yes.
first. That's it. It's a first. What? Yeah.
Right.
Not well, us.
Like,
And then
okay, so
you.
picture this. So you're on an airplane.
Mask.
You like
Yep.
analogies. You're on an airplane. The mask comes down. Well, if I'm on an airplane
Yeah.
and the mask comes down and I put mine on and I'm okay and I see somebody struggling
Yeah.
that I can help, I'm going to help them.
That's
These
perfect
people would
analogy.
see someone struggling and go, Sadiva,
Fuck them.
that's the
Fuck them.
difference.
This is my
Right,
seat.
right,
I'm only
right,
responsible for my seat. Yeah, no, that's a great
right.
analogy. You're absolutely right. And it's like even with the people that were before Donald Trump and JD Vance basically came out and they go, "We're going to look at all the J6 cases and we're going to see if anybody was in there doing really bad stuff." we're gonna take a look at it. Everybody fucking in the America First side, like the Hodge twins and Fuentes, and they go, no, you better pardon every single one of them, or we're gonna. It's like, hey, you know, Jake Lang's a cunt. All right, like fucking Jake.
He got a pardon, by the
I
way.
know. I wanted to
He
find
did,
out.
and you know who else did? You know who else
Ray
did? And
Epps.
people are pissed about it.
Right.
The same, and those are the people I said, well, what if Ray Epps? Well, not him. Okay, so you don't want a blanket pardon.
Yeah.
But we got the blanket pardon.
Yeah, he did.
Lang
Kyle's
pardoned.
Kyle.
And you know what it comes down to this? It comes down to this. It's unfortunate.
No, you know what?
Right?
Kyle.
But
Kyle.
write it off as that's the cost of doing business.
No,
in this case.
Kyle Seraphin explained it to me, and I was completely wrong about this because I said that I said the same thing. I go, well, fuck Jake Lang, and Kyle goes, you know what? This is why he needs to do it. This is why he needs to pardon everybody. He needs to pardon everybody because if he doesn't pardon every single one of them, he's giving ground to the other side. It needed to be a fuck you. Right, it needed to.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Rock'em sock'em robots, as Bongino says. Yeah,
it needed
just
it needed to be an everyone thing because it needed to be a fuck you. You did this.
That's true.
You did this to all of them, so I'm pardoning all of them. And he's right.
Yeah.
I came around on that where I was like, no, maybe he should go and look through the really bad cases, like the people that assaulted officers. Maybe he should. But then you know what? They've done about 4 years in jail, and I think that's time served. You know,
I looked at it and I said, I still wish there was a way, to make sure that the bad people didn't reap rewards for doing bad things. However,
yeah.
I'll get over it now, and I look at it now and I say, okay, well, the Jake Langs, the Ray Epps is the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
We wanted the good guys out.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the cost of doing business. If it's 1% of them that were bad, for the other 99%,
yeah,
I'll take that as the cost of doing business.
I'd rather let a few guilty people go with some that really only did some simple assaults and some vandalism. I'd rather let a few of those people
and
go.
I don't support people attacking cops.
No,
I
me
don't
neither.
like that.
No.
Okay?
I think that
But the system, the whole operation of how those 1,500 were rounded up and rated was so wrong.
Which means
such a big due process violation. You had to, you know what? And then the other thing is too. Think of it this way, because Bongino, he always talks about the rock'em sock'em robots. So you just keep punching, right? I mean, you've had the end of DEI. Mass deportations have begun. Refugee flights are canceled.
Yep.
He's taken aim at birthright citizenship.
He
The
undid
1,500 pardons.
He undid affirmative action. He undid Lyndon B. Johnson's law.
Ending affirmative action. One flag is only allowed to fly. Pausing all foreign aid. And what is the left still stuck on? Elon Musk.
Yep.
Bro, fine. Talk about Elon Musk. All day.
It's a genius move, and I hope he keeps going. I hope this is a 2-week long thing. Because there's still plenty for him to do. But you're right, and I saw the Bongino episode from today where he's talking about it. And for those of you guys that don't watch Bongino, Rock'em Sock'em Robots is just an analogy for continuous punching, right? If you have continuous punching going on, right? If you have continuous, by the time they're bitching about the left hook that you threw at them, I don't know, 5 punches ago, you have a right cross coming over the top, right? So what Trump has done in this first 72 hours. It's not even 72 hours yet.
And he's done it since he started naming cabinet picks.
Yeah, he did the same thing.
Hegseth, Gates, RFK, Tulsi. It was like, I
know.
It's the strobe effect.
It's funny. He pardoned all 1,500, and you know what was a side effect out of that was they tried holding some of them in jail. They had to send the U.S. Marshals in to get them out. And while they're busy with that, Donald Trump is now doing something completely different. He's like he's coming around the corner with fucking something else every other hour, and they don't have time to bitch about it. So you're right. They got, you know what? I don't know if this was on purpose, but now that I think about it, what you just said, it would be funny if Elon did that on purpose. right? Where it's like,
just to kind of throw
I mean,
something
like, hey,
out there and
let's
say,
see
all
if they'll
right, yeah,
bitch
yeah,
about this instead of all the other shit that they should be paying attention
right.
to. It's like,
Well, that's what it is. They're so because and it's bait for them, right? Because remember Madison Square Garden, because the Nazis
yeah,
in 1939 or whatever were over there,
yeah,
right? So Trump held a Nazi
yeah.
rally, even though the DNC went there too. It's like okay, so they're so focused on the whole Hitler thing, and Trump's going to be a dictator on day one. By the way, Mark's safe from the dictatorship, very
Yeah, me
happy
too.
after that day one dictatorship. But they're still they see something like that they can draw that parallel to
Yeah,
Hitler. Oh, scary. So they're going to jump on
yeah.
it. Meanwhile, here comes all these EOs and this, that, this, that, this, that, and they're still
If
talking about
Elon,
AOC is still making a fuss about
yeah,
the hand
if
gesture. My heart goes out
if
to you.
Elon really truly is a genius and did that on purpose, now that I think about it, it really is all they're talking about. And it now that I think about it, it is a net positive that he did the fucking Hitler salute
Absolutely.
because he's
Yeah.
distracted them. He's just distracted us. They're talking about it in
That's all they're
they're
talking
talking about
about.
it in Congress. They're literally talking about it in
Yeah.
meetings. They're like, "Can you believe it?" And it's like, "Yo, maybe he did. That would be hilarious." Um,
Whether he did or not, the fact that Trump keeps like he just won't
yeah.
stop with the punches. 51 intel agents lost their clearance, Bolton, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these moves, and we're just like, oh, it's so much winning. For us, it's so much winning. For them, it's so much losing. And think about Trump's first term, where they did that to us.
Yep.
The Russia hoax,
Well,
the Fine
you
People
know,
hoax, the Ukraine hoax, Mueller, then they tried to do it. They tried
hey,
to do it on the campaign. E. Jean
do
Carroll and
you
Bragg and Jack Smith, and
Do you remember
it
any
didn't
do
work.
you remember any sympathy at all from the left when Biden was undoing Trump's first term, signing all these executive orders, when we were screaming from the rooftops going like, "Yo, this is going to go bad." Do you remember the leftists
Right.
being like, "Hey, you know what? You have a point. Maybe we should slow down." Or do you remember them going, "Ha ha, fuck you. We got the football, blah blah blah." Cuz that's what it seemed like to
Right.
me.
Exactly.
So
That's what it
so we
was.
got the
Right.
we got
So
the
ain't
football.
no
Yeah,
fun when the rabbits got
we
the
got
gun.
the football now, so we're gonna run that shit. And it's like,
That's
it's
it.
really fucking simple. All right, this is elections have consequences, right? And this election was a consequential election. I truly believe. I know the left doesn't believe this, but I believe it. Trump believes it, and I know you believe it. If we didn't win this fucking election, right, there could have been a really, really fast downfall of America. It
Yep.
only took fucking Venezuela 10 years. 10 years to go from
We've been through 4.
the number 3 economy in their hemisphere, the number 1 exporter of goods. They were literally the most prosperous nation in South America. 10 years later, they're eating out of garbage cans and making paper mache out of their money. That's all.
Yeah, they're burning. A lot of them. Sometimes they burn their actual money because it's worth more as a source of heat than it is as
Correct.
a unit of
They
value.
sell their money as paper mache money. They fold it up and make
Yeah.
little like birds and shit out of it. That's how worthless their money is. It only took 10 fucking years for that to happen. And if you have 2 terms of that fucking what we just saw, then yeah, you could definitely do it. But
Yeah. Oh,
you
you
need the
definitely.
second term. That's why this term for Donald Trump, it's not a 4-year term, it's a 12-year term, right? Donald Trump is setting up JD Vance, or I think it's going to be JD Vance, but it's only day 2,
Right.
or his successor. You never know. You never know, because Trump might come out in 2 years and be like Don Jr. You never know, right? Somebody.
Right.
But I think it's JD Vance. If it's a 12-year term, because he's going to try to do such a good job that the messaging for the 2028 election is going to be, do you want more of this? Because if you want more of this, I'm handing you this guy. It will be me, but younger, right? Like, that's what I think he's
Right.
going to be setting up. And it's,
And honestly, I'll say this too, and people get mad when I say it. I think JD Vance is more conservative than Donald
I
Trump.
believe so too.
We've had this conversation. Trump is basically he's a conservative on a lot of fronts, but socially he's very moderate.
Right.
And he's basically like, I'm just going to leave you alone. You're going to do what you want to do, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, um, I was Team Vance with the VP choice. He was my number one guy. You know, when we started getting down to stretch.
Yep.
And like you said, it's only day 2. He could disappoint the hell out of us.
Exactly.
I don't think he will, but we'll see. We will evaluate his performance over the next 4 years too and decide, is he the guy?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to think he is, but it's too early to say for sure.
think about it like this.
Right? Pence was the guy for a while.
Yeah, think about it like this, right? I'm looking at this right now, right? Jimmy Carter. Let's use Jimmy Carter as 1970s Joe Biden. Okay, Jimmy Carter did a horrible job. A mandate was set for Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan served for 8 years, right? The 1980s and 1990s arguably were the best 2 decades in American modern history, right? It was no generation is perfect, but I think we had, that's when I was born and grew up, 1985. We had it pretty good. I remember I lived in the house I lived in growing up. It was like my mom was an insurance broker, okay? So not a lawyer or a doctor. My mom was paying for a 3-bedroom house with a mother-in-law in the basement and an attic with 2 extra bedrooms. So essentially a 5-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood with a big backyard and a swimming pool. And she was affording that on a secretary of an insurance company's salary. That's pretty damn good, right? You're living in good times when you can do that, right? So then we had George H.W. Bush, and that was the 90s. That was pretty good time. And then Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was a good president, guys. I'm sorry, he was. I don't remember, yeah, there was a couple of things. Every president has a couple of things that they do that you don't like. But I would say it wasn't until we got into George W. Bush Jr. that things started to suck. Then
Bush 43.
Yeah, Bush 43 was wars. It was wars, and it was 9/11, and it was fucking, and then
Patriot Act.
Then he handed it over to Barack Obama, and we all remember that. So you got a solid 1989 to 2001. No, I'm sorry, 1981. Sorry, 1981 to 2001. You have a 20-year stretch of prosperity that you.
Yeah, Bill Clinton ran a surplus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the guy as a personal, but I remember I was younger at that time. I was born in 91.
Yeah, he balanced the budget.
But I remember my parents, they voted for Bill Clinton, and I remember hearing their conversation. He's a good president. They kept saying he's a good president. Yeah. I don't know. I can't weigh in. I don't know. I don't think he's a good person.
No, not a good person.
But I heard that he ran a surplus. Yeah. Sounds nice to me.
I would say,
be nice if we did that again.
I would say that was 20 years of decent times after a horrible presidency, right? So that's what you need to think right now. You need to think, take advantage of what just happened and think of it historically. A pendulum swings back harder. What the Democrats just did over the past 4 years was they grabbed that fucking pendulum and they stretched it as high as they could possibly fucking take it. And they were trying to snap that motherfucker, and it just let go.
Yeah.
And it let go, and right now we are in the beginning of that fucking whoosh.
It's coming back.
So this whoosh.
Well, it's Newton's law.
Yep.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Yeah. We are at the beginning of the equal and opposite reaction.
So, I mean, listen, I can't predict the future, but I really hope history repeats itself and we have another run of a prosperous 20 years starting now. So this is, I would say, a 12-year term. And if we play our cards right, we have a good 4 years. Donald Trump hands the mantle over. That president, let's say it's J.D. Vance for argument's sake, has a good he has a good 8 years. That's 12. 12 years of prosperity. Maybe we hand it over to another good president. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, but hopefully Republican, unless Democrats literally change everything about themselves over the next 12 years.
Maybe John Fetterman.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that? Did you see that he is supposedly switching to Republican?
He's not. He gave an interview to Semaphore
Okay.
yesterday, and he said that he called the rumors amateur quote. He called the rumors quote amateur hour shit. And he said that it would be that would put him on another quote, a rocket sled to Palookaville. I don't know what that means. I don't know if Palookaville's in Greenland,
So
but
when
he said he's not. He said he'd make a pretty bad Republican, to which I would say, how is he worse than Mitch McConnell? You know, he's still very pro-choice,
yeah,
and he's still very pro, gender affirming
he can
care.
switch.
He's big on those
He can switch
things.
to independent.
Not big, but he could be independent.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? Bongino again has the best way to look at it. He doesn't have to switch to Republican.
Yeah.
Can he be a plus
+1
on some legislation? That's all I care.
+1, -1, and he voted for Marco Rubio. He voted for. I think he's gonna vote for Pete Hegseth too. So
I think so too.
I think that Fetterman is just. I think that Fetterman is not bought and paid for because they didn't even bother trying. I don't think they included him in the corruption. They were like, "You're retarded, and we're gonna buy your election." Right? We're literally going to buy your election and we're going to cheat and you're going to be a senator. And he was like, okay. And
Sasquatch.
I think what happened was when he started realizing that he's not allowed to have his own ideas, I think that he rebelled against the party a little bit, and because he's a fucking retard, he's like, I'm gonna do vote where I want. Like, it's like when I heard that rumor,
well, it started, for him, the rumor was everywhere. For him, he really started to come around after October 7th.
He's pro-Israel.
That was the big turnaround.
Yeah, he's pro
big time. Where he was like, he called people assholes.
Well,
he's like, you're an asshole. I was like, whoa.
I mean, look at me. I grew a huge following of these people, that support Israel because of my position. My position was anti-terrorist. It wasn't pro-Israel. I became pro-Israel.
Right.
I became pro-Israel by being anti-terrorist. But what I heard the most from people is, and I still hear it to this day, is you don't have any idea how rare you are. So, referring to me. They're like, it's so rare. It's so rare. And I'm like, why? Why is it rare? Like, and I had Democrats and liberals still follow me. They say into my comment section all the time, they go, I don't agree with anything you say. I follow you for your Israel content. But they're like, it's a way to open up people's eyes when you have something that's so blatantly, obviously evil, and you just call it out. And apparently a bunch of other people aren't. And I think that Fetterman had the same realization that a lot of the people in my comment section have. They're Democrats, but they're like, the people that are supporting us are the people on the other side. Like, I don't understand why. But the people on the other side are supporting us, and I don't get it. Because you would think that the Democrats, the peace and love and tolerant people, would probably be on the side of the Jews instead of the people that throw gay people off of buildings. But they're not. They're not.
Well, I like these people too. Remember, you were trying to figure out on TikTok if you were allowed to say "Free Palestine." Yeah. That tweet you sent me, I commented in there and I was like, I have an idea. How about instead of fighting the good fight in the comments on TikTok, go to Palestine?
Yeah, exactly.
Go tell the people that you think are the good guys that you're going to help them, and and tell them, by the way, that you believe Jesus is your Lord and Savior, and tell me what happens to you.
So
okay? Because it's one thing if you're Nick Fuentes and you want to write Christ is King, very nice thing to write, on social media.
Yeah.
Okay? Go say that in Gaza and tell me what they do.
Yeah, if you're talking
the good guys.
If you're talking about how awesome this place is, go there. But I broke a troll with that. Like this person that was like, you can't say Free Palestine on TikTok. I go, yeah, you can. And then I deleted TikTok when it got banned, and now you can't even get it on your phone again, which is hilarious. Apple is not putting it back on the App Store until the sale is final. So if you delete it from your phone, it's gone. You're not getting it back.
You can on Android because you could download the
Yeah,
APKs from third party.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's not in the App Store.
Yeah, it's not on if you have an iPhone, you're fucked. If you have an Android, there's a way around it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I told my friend Sandy and I told you, I said, go type in Free Palestine and tell me if it gets banned. And she did it right away and she goes, nope, they're lying. So this troll on X was like, no, you're wrong. And he goes, you want to bet? And I already knew that I was gonna win the bet. So I go, sure, here's my Cash App. And they started ever since they sent me the $5, by the way. But ever since then,
that's nice.
Ever since then, I have had comment after comment from this person who's like, "You fucking tricked me. You knew before this, and you did it." And I go, "Yeah." It's like, yeah.
Look, here's the thing.
You're the one who wanted to bet.
Why didn't my thing is why didn't you know?
I wrote in the comment section. I go, never make a statement if you don't already know that what you're saying is true. I go, never make a statement.
Right.
So I go, when I made a statement that it was bullshit, yes, I already knew that it was bullshit. I didn't include the proof. You then bet me, and I gave you the proof to back up my statement. And this person is, I swear to God, 10, and they keep, it's one of those like 55 follower accounts. You know how those smaller accounts, they don't reply to you, they quote you, so their whole page is your conversation.
Yes,
it's a one-sided conversation. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to a completely different person, and they quote me and they go, this guy misfit stole my money. I'm like, it's $5.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so funny. By the way, I don't know if you saw this. This is just some humor, but did you see the mayor of Philadelphia?
No. Oh, Eagles.
Did you hear what she did?
Elgses.
Elgses. I put up. I mean,
bro. You know this.
I thought we were the uneducated.
Bro, you know it's so funny.
Bro, it's the Eagles do that chant. It's like Jets, Jets. The Ravens do it too.
Yeah.
You know, Ravens, Ravens, EAGLES, Eagles, Jets, Jets. Like, you're the mayor of Philadelphia.
We do the Pats. Pats, Pats. Yeah.
Like, you know, how do you misspell the word Eagles that bad?
You know,
ELGSES.
So,
Eagles.
I was just about to say with Fetterman, when the rumor was coming out about Fetterman switching, I made a post and I quoted it and I go, yes, great, awesome. Also, primary the fuck out of him at your first opportunity. And I had people in my comment section like, why? He's great. Why? And I'm like, he's fucking retarded. I go, like, you have to understand that he's retarded, right? He might be the nicest guy in the world. And it brings me to my point to tie it into what you're saying. This woman who doesn't know how to fucking spell. Jasmine Crockett, AOC. It's like, dude, our elected representatives are not smart people. That's the for office. Like, and I think that you should have to take it live, where it's broadcast to your constituents, where it's like it's an oral examination with somebody. Like, you know what? The citizenship test. That's all. Just do the citizenship test. Right?
That's all you got to do.
Take the citizenship test live in front of an audience and have it broadcast out. If you pass the citizenship test, you can run for office. If you can't,
a friend of mine is a college professor, and he for one of his classes, he's political science or civics, you know, one of those. It's adjacent, one of those things. And he hands out a copy of the Russian Constitution. Which does not start with "We the people of the United States of America." And he tells his class that is the United States Constitution. And very rarely does anybody notice that that's not the U.S. Constitution.
That's amazing.
That's a problem.
Well, yeah.
Until he tells them.
Yeah, I mean, I was just...
It doesn't start with what everyone knows the Constitution starts with.
Well,
We, the people of the United States, like.
So I was just reading the my pocket Constitution, which is it's the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And I bet you if I was to I bet you if I ask you, you'll know. But in the Declaration of Independence, what is the thing that they're talking about in the Declaration of Independence, right? And don't answer yet. But I bet you if I asked a whole bunch of people, they wouldn't be able to answer that very simple question. So now let me ask you, what is the thing they're talking about in the Declaration of Independence? Like, what is the
The
context?
long train of abuse, like the long train of abuses. It's the reasons why they're declaring independence from
Yes.
England, and it's basically their airing of
Correct.
grievances against the crown.
Correct. It's literally
Yeah,
just a bitch list about King George, right? It's literally like
right.
King George is a dick, and here's a bunch of reasons why.
And here's
Yeah.
why.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's all the
Yeah.
Declaration of Independence is. But if you were to ask 10 people on the street, what's the Declaration of Independence about? They would probably go, "Oh, it's when the United States declared their independence." And okay, but from who? And they might even say England. Okay, but what's it about? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like people are
So
very
it's like they're declaring independence. Okay, so have you ever broken up with
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
before? Why did you do it? Like, that's it, you
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. It's
You
literally
know?
just yeah, it's a bitching list about King George.
Did they cheat on
It's like
you? Did they, were they like, what was the,
oh, it's like
what,
usurp.
did you
Yeah,
do it for
it's
fun?
about you know what's funny is like if you read the Declaration of Independence, there are so many tenets in it that actually can relate to like current modern society, where it's like they were throwing people out of Congress, where they were not giving people due process, they were usurping, they were jailing, they were jailing their political opponents, they were doing this, and they go, and we're going to get 13 colonies, and we're going to say, we're not part of your shit. We're over here now. And it's funny that if you were to ask, I mean, shit, I bet you I could ask 10 of my friends and maybe one of them would get it right. Um, and that's a problem. So, like, if you were to run for Congress, I think that you should have that basic civics test where it's like you can we'll give you time to study for it. You know you're running for Congress, right? So go just make sure that you are prepared to run for Congress. And then yeah, like I mean, spelling Eagles wrong, it's one thing. But I think that the people that are representing the United States of America in Congress should be well versed in the Constitution.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking,
But
it's insane.
I'm all about having like an IQ requirement too. This way AOC is out.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time she said like, "Oh, when I was in the Girl Scouts,
What?
they taught me how to cook and they taught me how to change a tire and they taught us all about how to recreate the NASA Challenger mission." And I was like, "Oh, the Challenger? You mean the one that blew up?"
But the guy is fucking retarded. All right, and I will
I'd
die.
get a beer with him. He's
Oh
probably a
yeah,
character,
he
but
seems like a
it doesn't
very
mean I wanted to be in the Senate,
yeah. He seems like a very nice retard. But he's fucking retarded. He's not smart. I watched the Joe. You watch the Joe Rogan podcast, and you're like, wow, that guy's dumb, but very nice, very nice guy. All right, well, it's 10 o'clock, so I think we're gonna get out of here. What you got going on, Shawn?
Just
The
living the dream.
radio
The
show.
wife and I are,
You were painting?
we're painting our house
Yeah, I
every
was gonna.
day. Yeah, we bought a house in Tennessee, so we've been going in repainting, and every day
Uh,
we've just been going in
that
and
is the worst.
painting and
That is
painting
the
and painting.
worst fucking thing to do. Hey, you know what you should do? Spend the $180. All right, it's called the. I'll send it to you. It's called the Greco. The Greco. I think it's called a one shot. I bought it for my job, and it is amazing. You hook it up.
I used to sell that machine.
Well,
Yeah.
no, this is the new one. You hook it up to a drill. You hook it up to a drill. There's no pump. There's no hoses at all. It's at Lowe's. You can get it at Lowe's, and
Yep.
it's the one that you hook up to a drill. It's $180, and I did this whole bathroom like last month, and the thing fucking sprays just like a professional $1,500 paint sprayer. It's amazing. The only issue is it has a small paint things.
Like a
So
tank.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like in a
It's a cup sprayer.
it's a cup sprayer, but the cup is like a flexible cup. So
Okay.
so the cup itself sucks in as I'll send you a link. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
bro, you
We got most of the house painted already, but
so
we,
too
you know
late.
what? Yeah,
Go buy
but
it. Buy it
you
to
know,
do the
getting good.
last of it
We're
and then
getting good
return
at
it.
it though.
Buy it and then
I'll be.
return it.
It's not Costco.
No,
Okay.
no,
You know, by
dude.
the way, Costco is the best. You can return things, but I'm saying Costco is funny. I saw somebody return a half-eaten birthday cake once,
Bro, I'm
and they
telling
took
you.
it.
So Lowe's and Home Depot have this have what's called a no hassle return policy, and this is a
Okay.
little inside baseball from the contracting community, right? If you want to rent a tool for free, you just buy it, you use it, and then you bring it back in the box, and you go,
Yeah.
and they
A
can.
buddy of mine used to do that a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll rent the tool, but not every one of them has tool rental. So every once in a while, like I needed a
Right.
what did I need? I needed a basin wrench, right? It's a special wrench that you use to take off the sink drain. I only needed it this one fucking time. The thing cost $15, right? I literally needed to turn a fucking giant screw one time. So I went and bought the fucking thing. I went and turned the fucking screw. I left the fucking label on it. I didn't even take it out of the plastic. And then I brought it back and I returned it. So that's what I'm saying. It's a little
Yeah.
inside
We got to do.
baseball. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls. I'm gonna get some rest, but let's do the shout outs. We got Emerald Sonic 78. Aliyah, aloha. Aloha, Aliyah. You look new. We keep getting some new people in here. I love it. Grumpy Gay Guy. I know you. Grumpy Gay Guy is old school from TikTok days from years ago. We got On the Edge. Stassi's for real. That's Gina. We got On the Edge. K Hart 917. Dr. McGutter. Another new one. All
That's a
right.
new name.
Yeah. Dr. McGutter. I love it. 508 J Fisher. And I believe that is everybody. Okay, boys and girls, it is Wednesday night, which means you'll see me tomorrow and you'll see Shawn next week. Make sure before you get out of here, you like this post or video, whatever. Fucking, I don't know. And we'll